Anybody else?
Paul Smith, Safety Officer, Station 29 Muse. I'd like to publicly acknowledge Chief Cass and Chief Poverty on the outstanding jobs the three departments did a few weeks back with the 4 structure fires. Well, two residential structure fires, 1 commercial fire, and the third one was a smaller fire. There was 4 fires within 22 hours here in the township. And thanks, guys. We worked together and it paid off. It really did. All the training was good.
That looked good on television too.
And unfortunately, the folks lost both of their homes, but nobody was hurt. That's it. Secondly, is there anything we as a township or us as first responders can do about the speed of this train out here? It's been brought to my attention a few times. I have seen video where these trains are going over 15 miles an hour. And railroad law and state law dictate that any time a train is going through crossings that are not attended by a watchman or a gated crossing, that they have to go 15 miles an hour. And I know these things are going 35 or 40. Is there anything we can do? Because I've already reached out to Wheeling Lake Erie Railroad and talked to their representative. And it's funny, after I hang up the phone, I make a phone call to friends of mine along that Route 50 corridor. And he said, man, did you call because they're going slow today? But it lasts a few days and then they pick it back up.
That's what I was saying, you shouldn't have to continue.
They did pick up the speed right at my house between, if you want to go between Bishop Valley and Clifford Road. They did pick up the speed once they fixed the rail, because they were at 5 miles an hour and you could see everything. Now they're probably up in excess of 15 to 20, I don't know for sure. But because of the new rail, that they did gain speed. I do know that, we've seen it. Anyone that lives along it can tell you it's a considerable difference.
And my biggest concern, and as a responder in the township, is the trains that are leaving the compressor station full, not the empty ones.
Yep.
I mean, God forbid that we have an accident, it's going to be catastrophic anyway, whether it's a full train or an empty train. But I don't know we obviously can't have chief out there flagging them down. Is there something we can do? Because, we just want to make this area safe.
First thing we can do, we can make an attempt to contact them. If they don't respond, I think attention is what they don't want, and I think you alluded to that briefly. We could have VASCAR lines painted on there, have our cops stop them, and we get national news then on that.
Sean, I noticed the graying of your hair.
It's not here, they'll stop for us, and I don't think I can stop one.
You can do a pit maneuver on it.
You're the chief, you have kryptonite, right? That's all I have.
Well, I'm not being trying to be funny about that. It's if they don't respond, they don't like attention to things like that, and just something like that, a municipality getting involved because they're worried about the safety of their residents, that would sure get attention, national attention.
Mr. Chairman, maybe you can instruct the township manager to inquire with the railroad, now that they have replaced some of the rails, what the speed limit is and how they are monitoring that for our resident safety, because our residents have noticed it, we've all noticed it, and just by calling that to their attention, maybe they can notify the engineers and we can have some adherence.
I have a question. Where did they replace the rails?
On this stretch,
I don't know where this stretch is.
this stretch right in front of the township building, right up on the hill, there's a train up there.
Behind the schools?
No, it's, behind the school, which is over there, but the train tracks are right here, which isn't very far from where we are right now.
What did you say has been replaced, the rails?
Yes, they did some
They
replacement rails.
replaced any rails near the schools? Near the school?
They have rail all along the track. I'm not sure where they replaced it, but I know they replaced the section nearest me.
They did replace some by Rising Road too.
In Clifford Road, I saw.
Does anyone know if they were replaced near the school?
The project was the whole rail bed, so I would imagine they wouldn't select
Well, my
sections.
suggestion, the primary concern should be the school.
Well, the schools occupy 7 hours a day. We still have more residents along Route 50. I live 35 feet from that train track.
I understand.
So I'm there more than those kids are in that school. It's not just the school we need to be concerned with. 5 days a week, 6 hours, 7 hours a day. We're talking 24/7, 365 for the rest of the folks.
I'm not trying to.
Well, what I'm saying is that we have
If
to.
you take the school into consideration as well, they might get more attention.
I don't know.
I mean, I get your point, Elizabeth, but I think that they can see the school. I mean, the school's an obvious because it's, and that's not a good thing. I'd rather there be a hill between that track and the school. But yeah, I think that the railroad has to know, and the school's been a subject of much debate with safety. And we've all mentioned it in different variations of trainings and talking to different railroad people that we had at the hazmat training that was just provided a few months
Did it do
ago.
any good?
Well, that was prior to the replacement of the rails. So I think enforcing that speeding, yes, they are, because they're capable now that they, and if you notice these trains when they're going, they don't click-clack anymore because of the seamless rail. There's no noise, and the cars don't sway like they used to. They're pretty solid, and they move along. And that's why they've been able to, in their minds, justify the speed increase.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Any general things? New business? Nothing? All right, good. We need to go to that executive session for those two items. We will come back, and the only thing we would talk about if we came back was the Slate Hill property and the Huffington property.